Hey guys, how's it going? CoderMan here. In today's video, I want to talk about anxiety and depression. Now, this isn't going to be a super long topic, and it's also not anything that should be miscued as medical advice, but just my perspective from a small business side on how to deal with this. So first things first, like I mentioned in the title, the Z is officially gone. I had made a video on that, but the reason I wanted to bring light to it is because my buddy Chris actually just created a video that now it's back in his hands and what his plans are for it. And he actually has a very important question on which direction he should take the build. So I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to the video in the description. I'm still going to be involved with it to some extent, but it's not at my house anymore and it's now his, so definitely go check that out. So like I said, fear and anxiety. Now I did a topic on this with business, how to deal with this in the terms of your actual small business ownership. But there's another side to this, which is your personal side. Now, what ends up happening oftentimes is when we're talking with people online or in business to any level, we get overwhelmed with what their success is and what they've accomplished. Now, we see this firsthand on social media because what happens is you get to see people's lives. Or so you think. You get to see a version of their life. It's not exactly what it is. And the reason for this is not because they're being deceitful. It's just a reality that people only put up their best, most times they put up the best image of themselves. So believe it or not, I've actually been dealing with this for over the last 30 days now, and it's not something exciting to say, but it's just a reality that I was comparing myself to other people and I was comparing myself to their successes, and unfortunately that really just does not work for my benefit, and it doesn't work for other people's benefit, because what ends up happening is I look at, I'll put together a whole list of things that I've accomplished or things that I wanted to accomplish this year, and the result is I compare it to other people and I feel like a failure, which is not something that you ever want to feel. But the reason that I want to say this is not because I want a whole bunch of comments down below saying, oh, you can do it and it'll get better. And that's not the point. The point is that if you're going through this, if this is something that you're suffering in your business or your personal life, you need to really focus on what your successes are, what your goals are, and really the only metric that you should compare yourself to is your prior self. So for instance, let's say in 2014, you did $50,000 in sales. In 2016, you did $70,000 in sales. And your goal for 2017 was $200,000 in sales. Well, that's a pretty big jump. So let's say you hit 130,000. You would think of yourself as a failure for this year. But what you're not looking at is your prior successes and how you've grown. Now, if year over year you're not growing, then you can't really call yourself a failure, but you should really focus on that and make it better. Now, you may not be able to realize from me doing these videos, but I'm actually quite the introvert. I don't generally hang out in large crowds, and I don't like to be the center of attention in most cases. There are exceptions to that. If I'm at an event or something, I love to chat with people. But I'll go through times where I'll be involved with something and I'll decide, hey, you know what, I don't want to do this because it's too much on my mind or whatever it happens to be. Like I said, creating these videos, you wouldn't really see that because, hey, I'm standing in front of this camera talking to you directly. But I know there's a lot of people out there that are natural introverts and they're really concerned, like, how do you do sales? How do you talk to people? How do you get in front of a video or a podcast? And honestly, it sounds so cliche, but the biggest advice I could give you is to just friggin' do it. All right, so just jump in front of the camera, grab your iPhone, do whatever the heck you have, just create a video, throw it up there. You'll probably laugh at it, maybe some other people will. Just keep going for it. If you have a message to spread, keep spreading that message and helping people. So I've spoke about fear and anxiety in this video, but I haven't really touched on how do you actually, help it? How do you get it so that it's no longer a factor? And one of the ways that I do that, and like I mentioned at the beginning, I've been suffering for it greatly about the last 30 days. And it's now kind of come to a head where I've just really hit it head on and I'm like, you know what, this isn't going to be a problem anymore. I'm focused on my own journey and that's it. And one of the ways I did that was I started to list out what I've done this year, what I intended to do, how much time I have left, and really just kind of get real about what is it that you're fighting for. So if you're just going after money, then it's not going to work. You're going to end up in a result where you're not going to be happy because once you get that money, let's say you want to have a $250,000 a year business. Once you hit that, you think that the sky's open and everything's perfect. But what ends up happening is you become complacent because you're like, okay, great, I hit that goal and now I'm good. But the reality is what ends up, you push yourself forward, or you should push yourself forward. But if you focus rather on, I want to help X people, or I want to create X product, or I want to serve my community, or whatever it happens to be, when you reach those goals, it just feels a lot more fulfilling. Now, I don't want to become all preachy and tell you how you should live your life or anything like that. You do what works for you. I just find that in small business ownership, these things definitely can hit. So I wanted to create this video and hopefully help you guys out. I really appreciate the continued support on the channel. Please leave a comment below if you have any. Share this video with somebody you think they should see it. Please like the video, and as always, subscribe if you're new here. I'll catch you guys in the next video.